Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Left the flag stick in with the maple leaf flag. Good pace. Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Glorious and free!
72-foot eagle putt, fourth playoff hole. Nick Taylor coming up with one of the great moments in Canadian sports history on Canadian soil or not.
Beautiful.
He wins the 2023 Canadian Open, first Canadian to do so since Pat Fletcher back in 1954. Here to talk about it from beautiful Predator Ridge in Vernon, Dick Zokol. Dick, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Good to speak with you, and more importantly, good to speak with you on this subject. Yeah. This is fantastic.
Well, your reaction to that victory?
Well, oh my gosh, the first thing that came to my mind was, in spite of all the Saudi distractions that have really plagued the RBC Canadian Open last year and now this year, I think it's suffice to say that it was well worth it. This is massive for Canadian golf. I mean, it's going to lift our nation. We all kind of where we are today in Canadian golf is a result of what Mike Weir did, winning the Masters, and today, like, there were 8 Canadians that made the cut in the Canadian Open this week. There's 4 Canadians that won on the tour, and now that Nick Taylor has won the Canadian Open, it's going to make an impact in all these young minds in Canada to play golf and to follow that dream. So it's a monumental moment for Canadian golf.
And let's not forget about Brooke Henderson as well, Dick. Hey, what was going well for him? What made him so effective on the weekend? He shot a 75 on Thursday, Dick.
Yes, he did. And sometimes that happens. And what he shot, 67, 63, 66, pretty fantastic stuff. And what he did particularly well was keep his mindset calm in this situation. Like, I remember I had the lead of the Canadian Open. I was tied with Curtis Strange. This is in 1987. I had not won yet at that time, and I'm playing on Sunday, tied with the lead with Curtis Strange, who was the number 1 player in the world at the time, and I just wasn't ready for it. Standing on the tee, Curtis knew he was going to win. I knew he was going to win, and Curtis knew that I knew that he was going to win. So what he did really well was keep his stuff wired tight from a mental perspective that allowed him to perform in the manner in which he's capable of. It's a mindset situation that he handled so effectively.
Dick, one of the really nice things for me was the way Mike Weir, Corey Connors, and Adam Hadwin followed him in the playoff, and that support from fellow Canadian golfers. I thought that was incredible. I really enjoyed watching those guys go from hole to hole to follow.
It was great, and I think that kind of speaks to how the importance and the camaraderie and the pride of nation that we are. We get that stuff all the time with hockey. And golf is trying to forge its way through, and it's doing it brick by brick. I mean, I remember, and also like going back to 1984 when I was a young guy on tour. I don't know if Donnie, do you remember Jim Shaky Hunt, the columnist in Toronto? I remember 1984. He came out with an article, and it said Canadians have 2 chances to win the Canadian Open: slim and none. And he was right. He was not wrong by any means. But look at the time since Pat Fletcher won, and I think quite frankly, I think it should go back to 1907, because Pat Fletcher happened to be born in England. He wasn't born in Canada. I think we're trying to steal a page from Stephen Ames and include people so we could get across this finish line. But I think all that curse, and you could call it similar to the Red Sox curse, and it's now that it's over. And I obviously believe with this many Canadians on tour and the growth that golf in Canada is going to get from this, it's not going to be that long the next time a Canadian wins the Canadian Open.
Dick, a lot of confusion when Fleetwood hit the ball into the stands and there wasn't a penalty and it was a drop. Why? Why is there no penalty?
Well, there shouldn't be any confusion on that because you get relief from man-made structures.
Right.
So that under normal conditions, those grandstands aren't there, but the tournament comes in, put them in there, and it's a safety factor, and all players know that. So when you have, and quite often you have this surrounded bleachers and grandstands, and if there's trouble short, a lot of players just let's hammer it 20 yards over the green. It doesn't matter if it goes in the bleachers; they get a free drop right between the bleachers and the green. So it can be used strategically as a benefit.
Okay, Dick. Adam Hadwin gets tackled by a security guard. There is an element of humor to it. What's the protocol, or is there one for on-green celebrations on the PGA Tour?
Well, there really isn't. Most PGA Tour don't do the champagne. They do that on the LPGA.
Yeah.
They don't. But obviously, Adam Hadwin went in there, and he's looking like a civilian. He's got jeans on and a hoodie. Yeah. And I just want to say is, who knew Lawrence Taylor is under the witness protection program in Toronto, and he's working as a security cop?
It was an impressive tackle.
Oh, he not only drove him, he drove him into the ground and kept on accelerating. I mean, this guy played football. And we can laugh about it now, but man, oh man, what if it dislocated his shoulder?
That's it.
Yeah.
And that would have been a bad thing. He obviously and quickly, when they got up, his arms were around each other, and he was informed that this is a player. So, the entertainment factor was high on that one.
Okay, you alluded to this earlier, Dick. Now that we've got you here, but the PGA's surprising, at least for most of us, merger with the Saudis. Just your reaction to that and what it means for golf.
Well, when you capitulate, you call it a merger. Mm-hmm. It was a hostile takeover. It is. The PGA Tour really found out what a great position the Saudis were in, and what a weak position the PGA Tour was in after going through a year of lawsuits and so forth. And the PGA Tour, in its designated events and how they had to increase purses because of the threat of the LIV Tour. And they spent a quick $100 million in legal fees, around $50 million to date, and jacking up the purses so they can compete with the LIV Tour. This isn't sustainable. And apparently, as one of the senators in Congress said, that this PIF fund has $13 trillion. So they could have, and Jay Monahan with his independent directors recognized very quickly that there's no way they're going to win this financial race, this financial competition. The Saudis and the PIF could run this through and bleed the PGA Tour out. It's just not sustainable for the PGA Tour.
Wow.
So in a smart move and a business move, it wasn't a smart morality move. And keep in mind, when it comes to morality and Wall Street, morality has no place amongst it, which is really unfortunate. But that's the way business is today. But keep in mind too is the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission has to ratify this, and with the amount of monopoly and particularly foreign and Saudi monopoly that's going to control all of professional golf. And I'm talking PGA Tour, Champions Tour, European Tour, Canadian Tour, Latino American Tour, LPGA Tour. It's going to have a hard time ratifying. And I think from a national security perspective, the government's going to look at this, and I would not be surprised that they don't pass it.
Predator Ridge, what's happening up there?
We are golfing up here. We are living the resort lifestyle, as you guys know all too well. And by the way, we haven't seen you guys here yet. Are you coming up?
Talk to our bosses.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We'll be there. And one way or another, we'll get there, Dick.
We'll be waiting for you. Thank you.
All right. Dick Zokol, thanks so much for this,
Thanks
Dick.
so much.
Appreciate it.